Hey everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday night brand night. I'm Sherry Danzig, and tonight, like all Wednesdays and all brand nights, we cover Nikken's incredible technologies. Typically, it's one product or maybe a product category, but tonight is kind of special because tonight the focus is going to be on the entire wellness home, which really is the umbrella of Nikken's philosophy of creating this safe haven for people and their fur babies to thrive. So we have Sue Gruber, who's going to be speaking, who's about 20 years in Nikken with a nursing background and tremendous knowledge. So, Sue, take it away.
Okay, thank you very much. It's my honor to be here. And the Nikken Wellness Home truly is my favorite product. And this is actually what convinced me that Nikken was the company that we could trust and turn to for improving our life. Um, and being a nurse in hospital, I was at one of the major hospitals in Akron for um, about 35 years. And, it was repeat patients over and over again. And I knew that something was missing. I mean, Western medicine is amazing. If you're sick and tired and chronic, they can manage your problems, but people were back over and over again. And I just knew there was something missing. And what Nikken provided us, it focused on the five elements for life, things we cannot live without. We can't live without air. I mean, 6 minutes without air, you're not around anymore. Water, sleep, nutrition, natural energies. We must have all of these categories to be truly in health and in balance. And that is what Nikken provides us. Air matters. Air pollution is the fourth highest risk factor globally for deaths, and by far leading environment risk factor for diseases. The pollutants can be 5 times higher on inside air and from what you have outside. They've done a really good job of cleaning up our outside environment, but our inside environment is really very chemical laden. And it's with modern living, it's just kind of happened. And it also provides this electronic smog. You can't get away from it. At 50% of all illnesses are aggravated by polluted indoor air. And we spend almost 90% of our times inside, whether you're at work or at home, and especially the young and the old, the infants, the small children are inside more. And if you're elderly or older, you're inside more. So we really can manage that inside environment with Nikken. Water matters. Of course, we don't have a name there. I forget who it was that said that, but dehydration is the mother of all epidemics. And the first step we need to take in addressing chronic diseases is to drink more water. It's not just a beverage, it is actually an essential nutrient. We must have water for every function of your body, every cell of your body, whether it's your digestion, respiration, your blood flow, cardiovascular, everything needs water. So it is just vital. And that, to me, that means you got to give it the best you can. So our body craves healthy water, and water as nature intended. Although modern living has really contaminated all these things that are absolutely necessary for life. Um, our sleep matters. Over the last couple of decades, sleep has really come to the forefront for the importance of our health. And unfortunately, in our fast-paced living, sleep is the first thing we give up. It's like I've had people actually tell me, well, I'll get plenty of rest when I'm dead. And I was like, well, you're rushing it. I mean, you need to get your sleep now. But most people do not get 8 hours of sleep. And if they do, many times it's poor quality sleep. And they both equal the same health risks. And you may feel fatigue. That's usually what you feel when you haven't had a good night's sleep. But lack of sleep also affects your weight. Your blood sugar elevates when you haven't had a good night's sleep. It's a precursor to Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, stroke, obesity, and even cancer. So we need to make sleep more important in our daily activities. Food matters. Um, food, it used to be that when you ask somebody what they thought they needed to do to get healthier, it would be food, change my diet and exercise, eat better and exercise more. And they never talked about clean air, good water, more sleep. You just never heard those things coming out of people's mouths. So I really love when I learned about all this from I mean, Nikken introduced me to it, but I've done research from other places, and Nikken is not the only company that believes that these things are essential. So with our food, unfortunately, our food is not as healthy as it should be for many different reasons. But one of the biggest things is we don't eat a proper diet. Only 1 in 10 adults eats enough fruit and vegetables in their diet. This is the one that breaks my heart. Our kids, 60% of our children don't eat enough fruit. 93% of our kids don't eat enough vegetables. And I'm living that. I have a ton of grandkids, and most of them don't like vegetables. So it really breaks my heart that we can't have a better diet, and I think it's just habits that we've developed. So energy matters. And this was probably the one thing I really had trouble getting a grasp on was nature's energies, because you can't see it, you don't really feel it. um it's like invisible wonderfulness. And we live in this electronic smog, and especially being confined to offices and homes, where we don't get outside. We're surrounded by cell phones, laptops, TVs, Wi-Fi's, even our light. I mean, Bob and I slept in an electric bed. And, we realized what we were doing to ourselves, we kind of got rid of it. We want to aid our bodies in dealing with these technological smog issues through the use of natural energies from the sun and the earth and the wind. And they actually counterbalance this bad energy that we get from modern living. So, what is in your body? I mean, we call this body burden, and it's an accumulation of chemicals, contaminants, even plastic. I mean, with all the bottled water and juices and sports drinks, all the things that we drink, we're consuming plastic molecules, and it shows up in blood work. I mean, they can actually test for plastic molecules, which I think is just kind of unbelievable. The way we store our food, if you have a microwave, cooking in a plastic dish, all these things add to our body burden. So what is our biggest health challenge? Well, actually, the biggest thing is, even though we've just gone through a global pandemic, the biggest health challenge we have is chronic disease. 60% of all adults, and this starts at age 18, you're considered an adult at age 18 and older. 60% have one chronic disease. 40% have two or more. Now stop and think of the people you know. How many people have emotional problems? How many people have skin problems? How many people have digestive problems? More and more digestive problems you hear about. And these are young people. It really is an epidemic of chronic diseases. So 60% of all adults have one chronic disease. By the time we're 65, 80% of adults have at least one chronic disease. And I having worked in the hospital all the years I have, I'll tell you they have more than one chronic disease. But chronic diseases are responsible for 7 out of 10 deaths every year. And it's not just health that's affected. It's our income, it's our taxes, it's our expenses that we have to pay just living in the USA. Treating chronic diseases account for 86% of the nation's healthcare cost, and we are paying for that. So I feel like it's time we should be doing something about it. So I had to read this slide 3 times before it actually resonated with me so that I actually knew what it was saying. Chronic diseases share common risk factors. I'm going to read it again. Chronic diseases share the same common risk factors play a part in all different kinds of chronic diseases. Chronic diseases are primarily environmental. That means not genetic, okay, in origin. And we do have some non-modifiable factors, things that you can't do anything about, and that is the genetic makeup that you've gotten from your family, your hereditary, and your age. As we all, how many times have you heard, well, I'm getting older, we just expect these things to happen. But I heard one time somebody say, genetics loads the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. And I thought, I bet I heard that 20 years ago. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is so true. You can actually control your genetic makeup and have a little bit of control over how these things actually manifest themselves if you control your lifestyle. And so we have modifiable factors. All these things we can actually choose to do or not to do. So tobacco use, and I will admit many people are giving this up. But tobacco use is one thing that you can just decide not to do. An unhealthy diet. I know that our lifestyle and our need to be in a hurry and to cram as much as we can into one day. Our schedules are crazy and it's hard to eat healthy, but we can choose to eat healthier. We can choose to sleep better. We can choose to drink more water and to drink better water that is actually nourishing for our bodies. And we can choose to have more activity. So all these things are modifiable factors. Excuse me. But then we do have these cultural environments. I mean, globalization, we do things worldwide now. We get food, we get a lot of things from other countries, which we don't have much control over those things. Urbanization and the pollution that comes along with that. And then, of course, our body burden. But we can make better choices to improve our health. So what is the key? I say prevention is the key. Wouldn't it be fun or wouldn't it be fabulous to open a newspaper or hear, of course, how many people read a newspaper, watch a news story that says breaking news, 1 out of 10 adults have one chronic condition instead of 60%. Really? Okay, lower health costs. Treating chronic diseases account for 10% of the nation's healthcare costs, not 86%, but 10%. Chronic diseases are responsible for 1 of 10 deaths each year, not 7, but 1. And by the age 65, 20% of adults have one chronic disease, not 80%. I mean, imagine that. Wouldn't that be wonderful to live in a world like that? So Nikken is a solution with the wellness home. This alone can change our lives. So healthy air, the Kinko air, it's an amazing air filtration system that filters large and small particles out of your air, pollens, pet danders, even viruses and bacteria. And it's on sale this month, 20% off. But the Kinko Air, you must have good air to breathe. Our clean and healthy water, Nikken's Primag water, 7 layers of filtration, mineral rocks to remineralize your water. We now have the copper ions in our water system. And you need to Google all the things that copper actually does for the body. It really is essential. With healthy sleep, our sleep system will provide you with the best night's sleep you've ever had, and it lasts and lasts. I mean, the sleeps, the technologies Nikken gives us are lasting, and they're worth every penny that we pay for them. Whole food, supplement your diet. Make sure you're getting that nutritious, that dense food nutrition that our bodies crave and that our bodies need. And the energies, our Nikken energies, whether they're the magnetics, the infrared technologies, those special ceramic fibers that give us the sun's energy, and the wind's energy with those negative ions. All these things are so essential for our well-being, our balance, and the way we feel. So this is the Nikken Wellness Home. And this is kind of the way our home looks. We have multiple air cleaners in all the rooms that we spend our time. We have our sleep systems. My grandkids have sleep systems. We take the supplements every day, and they make an amazing difference. And then all the natural energies. We wear the insoles. We wear the jewelry. We sleep with a grounding mat every night, so we ground every night. This is the most effective, most affordable self-care system on the planet, and it's called the Wellness Home. So Nikken also, they don't just provide us better health, they can also help with your finances. And so just imagine starting to raise your children, your grandchildren. The younger you start, the better it is. Your healthy aging doesn't start when you start feeling your symptoms and decide you better do something about it. Healthy living, healthy aging it actually starts at conception. But, the younger you start your family breathing good air, drinking good water, and enjoying good nutrition and energy, the healthier they will be throughout their whole life and the better aging process they'll be able to do. So we are so happy you're here. We invite you to be part of the global wellness community. For more information, please contact the person that invited you to come to hear our presentation tonight. Get your questions answered. You won't regret it. And just start small. Start with whatever it is you are worried about or thinking about. And a good way to know where to start with Nikken's Wellness Home is to take our feel good quiz. The person that invited you has a feel good quiz available to you, and they can tell you how to get to it, but it will give you personalized solutions for you to help start finding your balance again and becoming the best, feeling your best that you can be. So I invite you to give it a try. They'll send you, it's really kind of cool because you put in your email address and they will send you graphs and some statistics. It's really very cool, just for you, just personally for you. So thank you very much for allowing me to do this, and I hope I stayed within my time.
Did great, Sue. Thank you so much. That was awesome presentation.
You're welcome.